Powered by Riverside FM.
Prepare for a wild ride into the unknown. This episode takes you deep into the heart of Appalachia, where the mysterious and the mythical collide. First, we're diving into the unforgettable Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival, where believers and skeptics alike shared their chilling encounters with the enigmatic creature. Did Bigfoot make an appearance? You'll have to listen to find out. Then, we step back in time for a chilling true crime tale, the haunting story of Mary Hester and Edward Shue, a case wrapped in secrets, deception, and a testimony from beyond the grave. Was justice truly served? Keep listening to find out.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. 2 words and 2 question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
For those listening, that was the first and last time I ever read the teaser.
No.
Steve did cut me off at the end, though.
I did.
You did such a great job. I literally swear. I was sitting here thinking we have just found the new
No way.
forever
No way.
teaser guy.
No. You cut me off right before I said, here on Newsworthy, 2 words and 2. I was about to say it. But
I did. I apologize. Sorry.
it's all right.
Was a bit taken aback by your goodness.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
So, last week, we had something big happen. Steve was on the television
I'm not sure that was big.
Sunday night at 10 o'clock, Fox
10
56.
o'clock news with Marvin Bartlett.
That's prime time.
30-something years the guy's been doing news in Lexington. Steve made it on the broadcast.
I thought it went fine. We actually talked for 20, 30 minutes, and like as news do, they take a 2 or 3 second snippet or 30-second snippet.
I was hoping they put more of the whole conversation in there, because there was, selfishly, I wanted the podcast to get at least a name, be like, hey, this is Steve Lindsay of Newsworthy.
Yeah, that would have been cool. But the message was legit. They didn't cut the message. They didn't make me sound like some raving lunatic from the, that goes in, which is good. It wasn't, well, there's a tornado and it was going that guy. They didn't make me look like that guy. The weird thing was in that whole report, though, of all the people there, I was the only interview that they actually aired.
Yeah.
We're not even officially connected. So I thought you would have wanted someone who was officially connected to
some staff or even any of the speakers who were like just running the whole thing.
Right. There was lots of people who have national notoriety that was there. So I don't know, but I appreciate the opportunity. They did pretty good. And I met a new guy that, Marvin is stellar, outstanding dude. I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah. And so we went to the Bigfoot Festival, first ever Bigfoot Festival in Stanton, Kentucky, Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival. And I was really impressed with just how well everything was run, even after they got so many more people than they were expecting.
Yeah, it shut down the town. There was a line from the interstate all the way to the park where the festival was held. And originally we thought it had to have been an accident or something, and it just wasn't. It was just people coming to the park. We waited 45 minutes for lunch. In that 45 minutes, I think I counted 300 people coming in. So,
and that was like 2?
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere in the local tourism board or something. Of course, to digress, it's directly adjacent to the high school. They had permission and planned on using their entire parking. They'd also set up a shuttle to the nearby Lions Club. That was their backup. Those two quickly filled. They got the local Emmanuel Baptist Church and the Wells Funeral Home to agree to let them use all of their parking. That filled up, and then they really had nothing else to do. Zoom in on Google Maps. There just aren't many large parking lots in this small town. They filled basically all the lots in the town. Absolutely agree with what Brett said. That makes it sound like that they didn't do a good job planning. They did an absolutely fantastic job. I thought it was just far bigger than they or anyone thought it was going to be. Extremely successful. A ton of people. Steve mentioned traffic was backed up to the interstate.
Yeah, and that's 3 miles away from
3 or 4, I think.
Yeah,
quite a distance.
And I even asked one of the little ladies. First of all, they had everybody who was staff all decked out in bright yellow shirts that said staff. You couldn't miss them. Everyone that I talked to was happy and more than welcome to help. And the lady I talked to, I was like, "Hey, how many years y'all been doing this? Because y'all got it together." And she's like, "This is our first year." And I was like, "Holy crap!" That was impressive.
It was. And I mean, we got checked on several times throughout the entire day.
We had an issue with the electric at one point. They came, they stayed until it was fixed.
Yep.
And you can't ask for more than that. These things aren't 100%. You're not renting a building space. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Last year we were at the Hocking Hills Festival. I enjoyed it, loved it, had a great time.
Going back this year
shows you how much we liked it. The vibe of this one I thought was a lot better. Part of it was Hocking Hills last year. They've outgrown that. They moved it. But last year was a shotgun. It was in downtown. It was a shotgun down Main Street with a couple of offshoot side streets. This one was smaller, everything together.
Felt more like a marketplace.
It did. Everything better connected. Just love the vibe of this place.
It was all in shade.
Right.
Yep.
Trees.
There were mature trees everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, if you didn't get to go, make sure you plan to go next year. They are doing it again. It's already been announced for next year. They got bigger, better plans. Hopefully we'll be invited back. We'll definitely go. Had a great time. If you or someone had an interview, those will start airing next Monday. We didn't do it this Monday because we wanted to get through tonight first. We got some awesome giveaways to do, and we didn't want there to be an error or a thought of, oh, well, that one's better or whatever. So we want to do this first and before we start the interviews. But that'll be starting next Monday on Encounters. So pretty cool stuff, man. I enjoyed it. Jerry, what do you think your favorite part of Saturday was?
2 or 3 things. I already mentioned I love the vibe. Part of that was there were 3 of us this time, so we weren't stuck to the booth as much. We got
Right.
to walk around a little bit and experience that. Thankfully, since Brett was there, so I got to meet a ton of people. That probably helped with my overall vibe and loving the atmosphere and the other vendors. Last year, we knew the people next to us.
Right.
Other than that, we didn't get or very much time to go out and meet a lot of these people. Also, there was a lot more people in costume
Yeah.
at this, which we didn't mention it much. Brett's family was there. From what I saw, they seemed to have a wonderful time. From everything I saw, I think people with young kids, which Brett has young
Yeah.
daughters, would absolutely love this. Part of it was the people in costume. I just loved everything about the event.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to pick one. What was yours?
I'd have to be right there with you on most of those things. I loved the fact that it was very market style. You could walk. There was an actual place for food, but there were snack shops around. You know, a cotton candy or a when they grill the pistachios or whatever. There was one of those on the other side. So if you just want a little snack, you didn't have to walk all the way to the food court. I love the fact that they had speakers that was not behind a paywall.
Yep.
You know, all of the major players. Jeff Meldrum was there. The cast of Monsters was there.
Cliff Rockman.
Cliff Barockman was there, and they all did speaking engagements for the general public. You could just go up the pavilion and listen to what they had to say, and there was no additional fee for that, and that was kind of cool. Now, they did have on Friday night a more intimate setting where there was a fee attached, and you can get up and do a meet and greet and listen to what they had to say. But for the general public, I really like the fact that they allowed them to speak and have a place to do so where the
Yep.
general public could listen to
Totally
them and what
agree.
they had to say. I thought that was pretty awesome. And I'd be remiss to say that I always am amazed when we do these festivals how many truly talented people are in this world.
Oh yeah.
Some of the painters and the what's the word? Artisans, is that right?
Sure.
Artisans that do, you know, whether it be wood carving or painting or crafting or whatever it is.
Chainsaw
sculptures,
All of it.
food. I mean, there was really the one thing that I'm sure they'll improve on next year, because they had, you know, I mentioned I waited 45 minutes for food. I did that, but quite frankly, damn, that was good food.
It was.
It was the Gringo Brothers taco truck. Had a quesadilla, best quesadilla I've ever bought out, ever. That includes Mexican restaurants or whatever. Right. Delicious. So they'll have more of that stuff next year. But it just blows me away how many truly talented people are out there. And I just love getting to see that. We met some great folks who gave away a bunch of stuff too. What is yours, Brett?
So, yeah, this was my first Bigfoot festival, so I didn't have Logan to compare it to. But I was, you know, I'd heard the stories about you guys meeting people last year, and I'd heard that, but I wasn't really expecting the amount of people to come to us with stories that we had. I mean, it seemed so. We got set up pretty early.
Well, tell them, Brett, what we do. We're not selling anything when we go to these festivals.
Yep.
We're going there on our own dime. Our whole goal while we're there is just to talk to people.
Right.
I just want to say that, so because that sets up what you're about to say.
Right, and yeah, so we just had a sign that, you know, share with us your story, or share your story, and you know, we had a poster of, you know, our podcast logo, and so we got set up pretty early. We went and got breakfast, came back. It seemed like people started to walk around what, like 9:30.
Yep.
It wasn't even that late. It was like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, the thing opened to the public at 10. So I guess these were just people, but people had already started to come and talk to us at that point. And then it seemed like at 10 o'clock, we really didn't stop talking to people until, I mean, the rest of the day, really. I mean, it was like,
right.
It seemed like we were standing, interviewing, then we would be talking. It was like a big cycle of people. And I was just really surprised at how many people were willing to just come and talk. Steve helped with that a little bit, trying to get them to, hey, you got a story. And it's funny because people would be walking past, they'd stop for a second and they'd keep walking, and then Steve was really good about, hey, you got a story, don't you? And you could tell they were just ready to tell it. I mean, they'd stop, they'd come to us, and sure enough, they had a story. And then some of them, we didn't get to get all of those on recording, but
some people are just not comfortable with that,
right?
And that's okay.
Or they didn't have time. Some of them had kids, and
some of them wanted to, but we were doing interviews. They
Right.
would wait a little bit and give up and say, "I'll come back." Some did come back, but not all.
Not all. But we still ended up doing 15 interviews.
Yeah, we did a bunch.
Something like that.
So,
a bunch.
And then that's not, like I said, in most of those, we had already talked to those people for a while before even getting them back there. So it was just, again, I was just really surprised about that. And I really enjoyed talking to all those because everybody was just so nice. And of course, for me, just getting to hear those stories firsthand, like looking them in the eye and then just, telling us what they saw or what they experienced was just very eye-opening to me.
If you've never been to a festival that is focused hyperly on Bigfoot or cryptids, be it Mothman or whatever, the one thing that you may not understand is the most, and I said this to the news when I was interviewed, is most of the people that come to these come because they either do believe or they want to believe. And it creates a very safe space where, and then when Brett, you saw this, when somebody's walking by and they're eyeballing your sign, and then you say, "Listen, we're not selling anything. We're just talking to people." Right. You'd see their guard release, and then they'd want to talk.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't want to deal with that, the harassing or the hard sell. I wouldn't. I'm pretty good at walking past the people trying to sell me stuff.
Right.
But just to hear me out, to hear what I got to say. One of the interviews we did was with a lady who did not come on the air, so I'll share it now. She was telling us a story, and they had built a house, her dad, in a holler. And if you've never been to Eastern Kentucky, you may not know what a holler is. Google it. But literally, they cut into the mountainside, built a house. Well, when they did that, the second floor windows were even with the ground. It sounds weird, but you can Google pictures of this.
When it's on the mountain, you can see it.
You can see how this works. And after 6 months, he wouldn't let his daughters sleep in their bedrooms upstairs anymore because they believed that Bigfoot was looking in the windows on the second floor. So for the rest of their lives, they didn't sleep upstairs. They always slept in the living room floor.
Yeah.
And that was an example of a lady who just didn't really have time to come talk to us. She had her own booth, but she, true believer. And that was the lady that came back and brought us great, yummy cakes.
At the end of the event.
Yep. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love talking to those folks. And
it's like stories like that where she did not want to be interviewed.
Right.
She was not, it was just for us.
Right.
She just was telling it just for the sake
she wanted to get, a lot of the people I felt like just wanted to get off their shit. Yeah. Oh, somebody wants to finally hear my story without being laughed at.
And she kept interrupting her own story with, you guys are going to think I'm nuts. And it was like, no, I mean, this is, and it's funny how a lot of the stories that at least I heard throughout the day, they had similar beats to other stories. It was just, it was really interesting. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Like, I can't tell you, I've had an encounter and I've shared it on the show with me and my buddy Tommy. It was remarkable to me how many people wanted to hear that before they would give us their story, because they're like, okay, let's just test you here to see if you are going to think I'm a kook, and that really helped the situation too, I think.
I mentioned earlier that with there being 3 of us, I was able to mingle a little more. I took several pictures. I've got those in a Google Drive that I've shared and made public. We're going to leave a link to it. People in costumes, different booths set up. You mentioned earlier about the creativeness, and it's really true. There's people that we met that did chainsaw sculptures. You remember seeing the pictures? I don't know if you guys got back to the booth that did the laser art on the slate slabs.
Well, I've seen the pictures you showed.
Yeah,
that was amazing. Wood art. There was a lady we met that sews crotches on pants. You name it. It's there. You're going to see it. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
No, very much unbelievable.
It's funny that I got my kids and my family was there, and so I most of the time I got to walk around was at the face painting booth, but
It looked like they had a
no,
blast.
they
you
had
and
a lot of
family.
fun. Like I told you guys, but my 3-year-old is obsessed with Bigfoot, monsters, like Halloween. It's funny how every kid is different. Because my oldest daughter, she's all about princesses, dresses, but my 3-year-old, she's all about the monsters. And so she wanted to see Bigfoot. And of course, she did see Bigfoot. And there was a Bigfoot in like a tutu or something. And
So to answer the teaser,
yes, there was a Bigfoot.
There was a Mrs. Foot, a Bigfoot, a Deadpool
baby
foot,
Maybe, yeah.
a baby foot.
But she was like terrified. She was like, "No, I'm not." And the lady who was dressed up just went to her and like held out her arms, and she just went
went to her?
like this, not even thinking.
And then hugged her.
Yeah.
It didn't just allow her to be held. Hugged the
Oh, she
lady
was so
tightly.
excited.
So no
She was.
camping in a Bigfoot area for you.
Because she'll go to them. They won't have to get enough. Oh, take me. Take me with you.
Mama's mean
You could-
to me.
You could
Take
tell
me.
she wanted to
Oh, she was
meet. She was a
excited,
little
man.
scared, but still wanted to
Yeah.
meet them.
Also, just want to publicly thank your beloved for supplying me with snacks when my sugar was dropping. That was wonderful.
She carries around a whole bag of snacks. All the
Yeah,
time with all those
she brought it too. The fruit snacks are my absolute fave. She knew that going in. I knew it.
We're also going to leave a link on the podcast of the Marvin Bartlett, his Fox 56 coverage that Steve made it on.
Yeah. Hey, you know what we should do right now?
What's that?
We should give away a picture.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're going to give away whatever's first top picture. Ooh, it's a gray. Going to give away a picture of a gray right now. If you signed up, we have 4 of these. We told everyone we was going to give all 4 of them away. We got 3 regular pictures, and then we have a signed Easton Hawk original. So I'm excited about that. This is going to be a gray, and it is going to go to.
Do we have a drum roll?
Oh yeah, we do have a drum roll.
Just 1 second before you do that.
Sure.
What we're doing is we've got a database with the people that signed up. It's got their numbers. Brett is going to a random number generator that's going to generate numbers. Did I give you the range?
Yep.
And he's going to generate 4 numbers out of that. And
This is all
Totally random.
computer and it's completely random. We don't even know who the numbers are. So drum roll.
14.
number 14 is Austin.
Awesome.
We're going to have first names only.
Yeah, we're just doing first names. We don't, and that's okay. So we're going to put Austin's name on this one. That's awesome. So I always try to support the artist and the people I meet there because without them going, there's really not a festival.
Right. Yeah, you bought a couple things.
I did. I bought that print right there.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't notice that you put it up.
It's beautiful. It's a picture. It's a pastel of one of the many arches in the Red River Gorge.
Which it's known for.
Yeah,
Tons
it's-
of arches
It's
there.
just gorgeous. I love it. Now that's just a cheap print, but I thought it was gorgeous and I wanted to have it. I also bought a actual Bigfoot painting. That's already in our new studio, hanging on the wall.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, and that was from a different artist.
Very nice.
But
Yeah.
she had a story about that, didn't she?
Yeah, it was really cool because they had. I'll share this story because it was cool. She was telling me the artist because you get to meet these people, the people that are doing it, which is great. As they were painting the picture, and it's of Bigfoot, but as she was painting Bigfoot in, she painted him with like the fur, and it made it look like it had a bra. It was hilarious. And then, of course, they finished the painting, but it was
Yeah,
wonderful.
it looked really good.
Yeah, it was really great. It's in our studio, and I'm excited for when we get up there. It's going to be a few weeks. We got have to install an actual AC unit upstairs, but once that's done, we should be ready to move to a new studio. Woo-hoo.
Is the painting you're talking about with our normal with where we anticipate the camera's going to be? Is it going to be in shot? We'll have to pan over to it sometime just to show them.
Absolutely, we got a lot of paintings and pictures that we're going to have up there in that. So
if nothing else, if it's too hard to pan around, we can just take the picture over and
absolutely, we can do a feature picture if we want for every week. But so Jerry, what did you had? Did you had the same thing I had for lunch? What did you
think? From the same truck, but I had the bowl.
How was that?
It was excellent. Yeah. It was every bit as good. What does Chipotle's call their bowls? Burrito bowl? Is that what they call it? I think.
Yes, yeah.
It was every bit as good as Chipotle.
Looked delicious. I know the line for the hamburger place, you know, the more comfort American food.
Something, I forget the name.
Hillbilly Hunger, Hillbilly Hungry or something. But it was that line was an hour long.
Yeah.
They sold out of food by 3:00. To tell you how busy it was and how many people that was there that they didn't anticipate, there were 2 shaved ice places. One of them was Kona Ice, which goes to everything, and then was another like trailer. Both of those places ran out of ice. That's a lot.
Yeah, and I think that was the one thing that hopefully they'll improve next year is there wasn't enough. I mean, they didn't expect that many people to be there.
According to the girl I talked to, they had double what they actually expected. They had, and the reason they were so successful with this festival is they based it on what they do for their normal fall festival. You know, here in Lawrenceburg, we have the Burgoo Festival. It's pretty straightforward. You know, you put this, and here, and that's there, and it's all good. So they did the same thing with this, but then figure, 3 times the amount of people that they would have for their normal festival. And they got in trouble real quick as far as food. And they did have adequate bathrooms, which was amazing. I think they did
they did such a great job for having so many people.
By the way, either of you guys heard that supposedly Anderson County for the Burgoo Festival is bringing back the actual Burgoo cook-off?
Oh, really? Good.
Exactly. I would really like to get our show down there just because we are local.
Speaking of Anderson County, the Fox 56 news article on the festival, it listed Anderson County, which is where we do the show, as the highest amount of sightings in Kentucky.
27%. I saw that. Okay. Speaking also of Anderson County, our buddy Jeff Walridge is going to be on the show very soon, and we have some pretty big news that he wants to share. So we're going to try to get back with him and get him on the show. We're going to talk all about that because it's going to be a lot of fun. Jeff will actually host 2 per year Bigfoot hunts here in Anderson County.
Oh, nice.
To a secret location. They don't give out the location to where you go, but he recently found multiple tracks in this location. So, and made plaster cast of them. So, ought to be fun.
He was one of the big promoters of that event, was he not?
He was, of the talent. He was very familiar with some of the talent, and he brought some of the folks there.
Gotcha.
Let's do another giveaway.
Let's do it.
What do you think, Jerry? We got to take 14 out. Austin's already won. This one is for the newsworthy Mothman. I love this picture.
That's a pretty sweet picture.
I absolutely love this picture.
All right.
Let me know when you want the drum roll.
Drum roll it. 20.
And number 20 is Greg.
Greg. When you say it like that, it sounds like I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for?
Gregory.
Greg. It sounds like an alien or something. All right, so Greg.
Hold on before we go further.
Sure. No,
we ask people when they sign up to give us email or phone number. He put a phone number, which I'm not going to give, obviously, but the area code, he put 850. I bet that's a typo, but it's 859. 859 is local. I've never heard of 850.
Depends.
We'll dial both and find out.
There you go.
We'll see which one has a great answer. Now, that was Florida. Mothman.
That was
850. So it's possible.
It is Mothman. Are you writing it down there?
I'm writing it down.
It's newsworthy Mothman.
Did you guys see the? I thought the Mothman, like little
Yes.
figures that were made of moths.
Oh, in the
Yes.
jars,
Those
those were
were super
freaking amazing.
That was probably that was my favorite thing I saw. I was like, oh, that's super creative.
And they were like so small and dainty, but like $50, and I absolutely understand why.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having the patience and the time to make that, but that was fantastic.
You bought a board game too, didn't you?
I did. I bought Robin a board game.
Yeah.
Robin has been going to school for the last 3 years and is about to graduate again with another degree. And I just wanted to give her something to say, hey, congratulations, thinking of you.
That was just a guy and his wife that made those, right?
Yeah, a guy and his wife right next to us. His name was Keith, and they literally make, produce, and print these games. They're freaking phenomenal too, and they were very reasonable.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get his. I want to reach out to him hopefully and try to get his link and get him on the show occasionally.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice dude.
Yeah, he did do an interview with us.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
You know, one of our big opening lines to people was, hey, we're not selling anything. We're just talking to people, getting their stories. Do you have a story you'd like to share? So I asked that question to one gentleman walking by, and he said, sure. Stopped, opened a backpack, and handed me a book. He was the author of the book, and that was his story. It's not a long book. I don't know, 100, 150 pages, something like that. I'm maybe a third of the way through it. The title of the book is It Weren't No Bear. The author of the book is Kevin Gregory. Yeah, it's a very interesting book. The title and where he was at kind of gives away the subplot. On the back of the book, I don't want to spoil it, but on the back of the book, it says this: a man is killed by a bear or by something. Years later, his grandson sets out to find the truth. Probably not based on a true story, end quote. So that's the premise of the book. If you want to see more about it, you can Google it. It's sold on Amazon. Kevin Gregory is the author's name. The title of the book, again, is It Weren't No Bear. And all that started with, and it's Steve's line. Hey, you look like you got a story to share. Would you? We're not selling anything, which really, like you said, gets them to come over. Yeah. So many people are thinking, just someone else trying to sell us something.
We talked to several authors. We got a couple of books that we're going to cover and hopefully promote on the show. That was really nice. And then we got some guys that you didn't get to meet, Jerry, which was unfortunate. You were actually giving an interview at the time. Okay. And we had a couple of skeptics come over. Do you remember these guys?
I think I might have been.
And the whole premise of them being at the Bigfoot Festival was to debunk Bigfoot. And I did
get the pamphlet.
Yeah. So it was like, you and I talked afterward. It was like, why did you come here? Why are you here to make enemies? Because
I guess if that's the place you want to be, if that's your goal, is to debunk Bigfoot.
Yeah, but nobody at the festival for Bigfoot wants to hear your nonsense.
But that's kind of like a religious person. Why would they go to the people that need it?
I guess.
Even though those people are saying, why are you here? We don't want you here.
I guess.
I'm sure that's what they were thinking. I can help these people. Yeah. These are the people that need my help, that need my advice. I'm not saying they're right. That's just probably.
Well, he brought up some good stuff. I read through the pamphlet. A couple of the things on the Bigfoot Kentucky website that he brought up was kind of accurate. So, I mean, whatever. It's his joy. But if people are, I'm just a big believer in don't yuck somebody else's yum. You know what I'm saying? If people are asking you to debunk it, great. Debunk the heck out of something. But if they're not asking, why are you bugging?
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. Interesting. We got one more to give away before we actually give away the big one. Want to do it now?
Let's do it.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite prints. I love this one. It's the newsworthy Bigfoot, Jerry.
Oh, nice.
I love this one.
Imagine seeing that thing in the woods.
Man, if I saw that one in the woods, I would never step foot off a sidewalk again. And listen, I'm just going to be honest. I had a guy, many of these prints I had hanging in my office, and I dealt with several people in my office all the time. Literally had a guy come in my office, and I'm on the fence about talking to him. And we talk to just about anybody here, but there's other reasons for that. he was sitting there. I was handling his business, and he was sitting there, and he kept looking at this picture, and he just kept looking at it, looking at it, looking at it, and finally he says, "You know, he didn't look like that." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "His hair's not that fluffy. It's more coarse and stringy, and it smells like your favorite S word." And I'm like, "Oh, how do you know?" And he looks me dead in the eye and he says, "I've seen him 3 times on my farm." So he's a guy I want to talk to, but a guy I want to talk to at length.
Distance. He
At a
actually invited
distance.
us out to his farm.
He did, and
to
it's
look
one
at
of
that.
those things that I get a vibe that I want to talk to him, but I want to be careful while I talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Anyway, what's our number,
want-
Brett? Let's do a drum roll.
Let's do it. 26.
26. Give me just a second. And Keith.
Keith at 26. Woo! That's awesome. This is probably my favorite part of these shows, man, is when we go to them, we usually have giveaways and coming back and giving this stuff away. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy the heck out of it. I mean, it's usually, it's not a whole lot. It's nothing amazing. At the last Bigfoot Festival, we gave a couple of paintings away that I'd done that are, as far as I know, either being used for dart practice or they're hanging on somebody's wall somewhere. So we gave away a T-shirt last year, went all the way to Arizona. So that was pretty cool.
We also, again, to plug Easton Hawkman, or Easton Hawk, who saved our butts last year. We had some artwork that we took and was saying, we're going to give this away. A huge storm came up.
Yeah.
So
Ruined it.
part of our stuff that we're going to give away. And he gave us some of his artwork that he's selling that is incredibly good.
Oh my gosh.
Just incredibly nice guy. Was so helpful to us. That was our first event we'd ever been to. During the storm, he was helping us hold our canopy down to make sure it didn't blow away. Just really nice guy that does incredibly talented, does great art as well.
I want to share one of the other stories I heard too. Is
Sure.
I was talking to I think because there were so many people coming to us that like we'd all be talking to one person and then somebody'd come up, so we'd kind of have to split off. Well, it was kind of like that. I think Jerry and I were talking to somebody, and this guy just starts hanging around the booth, and he just kind of waits there for a second. So I go up to him. This dude's like 6'4", got a nice like dress, nice button down, cowboy hat, boots, and dude's massive. And he's kind of an older gentleman, but we start to talk, and he's like, "Oh, what do you do?" And we all talk about the podcast, and he's like, "Well, I had this. I guess one of the big Bigfoot shows. They actually did a show on the back of his farm, which is cool." But he was telling me a story. He said, "I was out hunting one night, and I heard this. I was just walking out to my deer stand, and I heard this rustling sound, and all of a sudden, all the hairs on my neck just stood up. And so he did have a flashlight. He flashed it up, and he said he saw 2 big red eyes, and he immediately just ducked his head. He said he looked up again, and it was still there. And so again, he said he was just so scared. He said he had his rifle, but for whatever reason, he couldn't lift it. He said he was just frozen. And he said finally he just put his head down and he said he counted to 10, looked up, and it was gone. So he said a couple days later he was talking to some of his buddies at the farm adjacent to his, and they were talking about the guy he was with was, I think his name was, let's just say his name was Joe, and he was like, "Oh, Joe, you been on my farm hunting lately?" He's like, oh, I don't go on that farm. It's got that big monster on it. Of course, this dude had never even heard about this. And he hadn't told anybody the story. And so he said he just got goosebumps. He said he's never been out there since. That was actually in Anderson County.
Really?
Off the Willisburg exit. Yeah.
I heard him telling you part of this story. I would say this: that guy came across as credible a person as you'd ever meet.
That's why, and that was what surprised me so much. It was like it looked like I expected like some rich horse farmer. That's what he looks like. I mean, just like very well. I mean, and I'm not to say that all the Bigfoot beliefs are not put together, but it wasn't the kind of person I was expecting to come tell a story. And he was one of the guys that had said they were going to come back. He did, that we were doing an interview, and he just never got the chance to. But yeah, that was one of my favorite experiences, just because I think that was one of the first people I had talked to individually, and his story was just so genuine. And again, he didn't have anything to gain from it. He was just telling me what happened.
He's not selling anything. He wasn't trying to get publicity. Again, he said he was willing to do the interview, came back once. There was another way, didn't even bother coming back again. So absolutely nothing to gain from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree.
Those are the people that you're like, and then I'll bring up the one last person that we actually talked to with your favorite straw, Jerry.
I had to love the straw.
Yeah. Those.
So much I couldn't continue. It was just, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, it was just such an unbelievable vibe that you don't even want to,
Yes.
when you are talking to people who are sincere, when you're talking to people who believe, when you're talking to people who really saw something, and then you talk to somebody who's just making a bunch of horse crap up. And, we've done this long enough that we can pretty much know that now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do anyway, don't you?
Pretty easy to tell, I think.
Yeah.
For a lot of them.
Yeah. And this was one of those.
Big time.
And you were like, oh, is that right? But that was one.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody else. I had one guy that I talked to that said, and he had real hard difficulty time speaking. He's like, I wish I could speak better because I have lots of stories, but I've had a stroke and I can't, I don't want to be on your show because I don't want to, hurt your show, which I thought was amazing. But he was like, I really support what you're doing. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And people like that, you're like, this is why we're doing this thing.
And then there's those guys that were like, like that one guy from Alaska, who I think he was the last one I interviewed. He was walking by, and his wife was like, hey, tell him your story.
Yep.
And he's like, nah. And she was like, no, tell him. And then we, of course, got to talking to him. He did tell us the story, which will be on Encounters at some point. But
yeah.
And there's just those people who, not even really wanting to tell it just because they don't want to sound crazy. But
right. And that's the thing about us going to Bigfoot festivals and cryptid festivals, wherever they are. That's a safe spot for folk. They're there because they feel like and by us not selling anything, I think that's a very key point. If we were trying to sell a book or sell a whatever, we're not going to be able to talk and engage in an honest format like we can. And I love it. I love it a lot. Hey, we got one more picture to give away. You guys want to do that?
Let's do it.
Now, this is the good one. This is an Easton Hawk signed original of Mothman. Now, the signature, if you're lucky enough to win this, the signature is actually on the back. You can't see it because it's a frame picture. You're welcome to take it out of the frame, do whatever you want to with it.
Yeah.
But it is actually framed. It is gorgeous. Easton is such an amazing artist.
Yes,
we don't give him if you want a great picture of any cryptid that you can think of, please go to Etsy and support Easton. It does take him a couple of minutes because he's doing these shows. He's out there promoting. It may take him a couple of minutes to get with you to be able to get it to you, but it's damn sure worth the wait. I mean, there's no doubt there. It's gorgeous. He gave us one of his prints for Mothman for our studio, and we've already moved it up to the new studio. So I'm excited for that. So this is the next one. The
good one.
Yeah, this is the big one. If you're going to win one, this is the one you want to win today.
The grand prize.
The grand prize.
Drum roll.
Drum roll.
Lucky 13.
Woo!
And the grand prize winner is Chris.
Chris. Good job, Chris. So that was pretty awesome. I'm happy. Chris, you're going to love this print, man. It's awesome. It makes my heart sad to watch it go away, to be honest. If you are a winner, we're going to be reaching out to you in the next couple of days. Be sure to answer your phone or your email. If we're going to give it a week, if you haven't responded in the week, we're going to give it away to somebody else on the list. I mean, that's just fair to everybody. We don't need them. I just want to come on and say thank you to the organizers of the Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival for allowing us to come. When you fill out a vendor form and you write that, one of the questions is, what do you sell? And they do that so they don't have 100 people selling the same thing. And I write, we don't sell anything. I often get a response back. What do you mean you don't sell anything? What are you doing? And when I tell them what we do, it goes one of two ways. Well, we don't have room for that, and that's fine. Or, man, that sounds freaking phenomenal. We can't wait to have you. They were the latter. We hope to be invited back next year because it was a hell of a time. We enjoyed it.
Oh, awesome.
And to be honest with you, I can't see why they wouldn't love it, because to do what we do, we have to plug the event. We talked about it last week. We're talking about it this week. We've got pictures up. Why wouldn't you want someone who's going to pay you money to come and promote your event?
Right. You know, it's not even like we're doing it for free. We
pay for
we absolutely want to pay for, because we want to support their local community. We pay for our booth. We're not asking for a freebie.
Right.
We paid for our booth. Thank goodness we have great sponsors that allow us to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Edlock.
Edlock, Smoking Gun Jerky. You guys are the reason we're able to do these things, and I just appreciate that so very much.
Absolutely.
Now, we do have an extended bonus story tonight just to cap the show. It's so just bear with us. We'll get through a few commercials. We'll get to that, and we'll wrap this up for the day. Maybe. Oh, wait. We forgot one thing. Brett, would you give the Bigfoot, the first annual Kentucky Red River Gorge Bigfoot Festival, a thumbs up or a thumbs down for whether it needs more or less news coverage?
2 thumbs up for me. I can't wait for next year, honestly, after going to this one.
What about you, Jerry?
I'm going to do something I've never done.
What?
I'm giving it 3 thumbs up. I only have 2. I'm going to grow another one just to be able to give it 3 thumbs up.
Jerry's getting his feet in there.
There you go.
I agree. I had a blast. You know, for all the little kinks that they have to work out, they had a great organizational path. We got there early. We didn't drive up the day before. We got there the day of. We got there early, like at 7 o'clock. They already had a full mob of people to help guide people and get them set up in the right spot. It was amazing. I love it. 3 thumbs up. I don't know how you're doing that, Jerry, but I'll find my 3rd thumb and okay, and we'll make that happen. That was an interesting episode, but our journey isn't over yet. If you stay tuned, we have an exciting bonus story coming up after this commercial break.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. When it comes to buying a home, the process can be overwhelming and confusing. With so many options, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why it's important to work with a certified mortgage loan originator. I have the knowledge and expertise to guide you through the process and find the best mortgage option for you. I will work with you every step of the way to ensure that you are getting the best deal possible. So if you're looking to purchase or refinance, please reach out to me at 502-680-0953. So don't take on the stress of buying a home alone. Work with me and I will make your dream a reality. Trust the professionals and make your home buying experience a positive one. MLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, MLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is equal housing opportunity.
If you would like to share suggestions for future episodes, an intriguing ghost story, or simply tell us how much you love or hate us, please get in touch with us. You can reach us via email at newsworthywithstephencherry@gmail.com or send us a text at area code 540-709-1318.
And now, back to the story. In the rolling hills of Greenbrier County, West Virginia, in the fall of 1896, a young woman named Zona Hester met a charming blacksmith named Edward Shue. Zona, just 23, with a spark in her eyes, fell hard for the 37-year-old newcomer. They married quickly, despite the uneasy feeling in the pit of her mother, Mary Jane Hester's, stomach. Mary Jane didn't trust Edward. His past was shadowed by 2 marriages, one ending in cruelty, the other in a wife's mysterious death. But Zona, headstrong and in love, brushed off her mother's warnings. 3 months later, on a chilling January morning in 1897, tragedy struck. A neighborhood boy sent by Edward to check on Zona found her lifeless at the foot of the stairs. Her body oddly straight, head tilted, one arm stiff at her side. Edward rushed home, cradling her body, moving it upstairs before the doctor could arrive. Dr. George Knapp, George Knapp,
I know, I thought the same thing.
the local coroner, showed up late, finding Edward distraught, dressing Zona in a high neck gown with a stiff collar and veil. Edward's hovering made it hard for Knapp to examine her properly, but he noted faint marks on her neck and cheeks. With little to go on, he called it an everlasting fate, later scribing childbirth as the cause, though no one knew if Zona was actually pregnant. Mary Jane was heartbroken and suspicious. She couldn't shake the feeling that Edward had blood on his hands. Her unease deepened when she tried to return a sheet from Zona's coffin to Edward, and he refused it. Washing it, she watched in horror as the water turned red and the sheet staining pink, a sign, she believed, of murder. Night after night, Mary Jane prayed for answers. Then, on 4 chilling nights, Zona's ghost appeared to her mother in their quiet home. Pale and sorrowful, the spirit spoke of Edward's rage, how he'd flown into a fury over missing dinner and snapped her neck, twisting her head around to prove it. Jeez. Mary Jane, fueled by grief and the ghost's words, marched to the county prosecutor, John Preston. She spent hours pleading her case, recounting the spectral visits and Edward's odd behavior. Preston, skeptical but intrigued, dug deeper, learning how Edward had blocked the doctor's exam. He ordered Zona's body to be exhumed, and in a dim schoolhouse on March 9th, 1897, the truth came to light. Zona's neck was indeed broken, her windpipe crushed, finger marks etched into her throat. She had been strangled, just as the ghost had said. Edward was arrested. His trial was set for June in Lewisburg. The courtroom buzzed as Mary Jane took the stand, her voice steady, but her story held back. Preston avoided the ghost tale to keep the case grounded. The evidence was damning. The autopsy, Edward's evasiveness, his refusal to let the doctor near Zona's neck. But the defense made a fatal mistake. Grilling Mary Jane about the ghost, hoping to paint a picture of her being unhinged, instead, her unwavering account of Zona's spirit gripped the jury, and the town was whispering of the supernatural. On June 11th, 1897, Edward Shue was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, escaping the gallows only because the evidence, a ghost, was superstantial. A mob however, gathered to lynch him, but they were turned away. Edward died behind bars in 1900s, taking any confession with him. Mary Jane lived until 1916, never doubting her daughter's ghostly warnings. Zona's spirit was never seen again, but her story lingers in Greenbrier, marked by a roadside plaque that tells of the only trial in America where a ghost whisper brought a killer to justice. What do you think about that story, fellas?
Wild stuff.
One of the best bonus stories ever.
Yeah.
I think that's freaking amazing. The only time a ghost has been admissible in court.
Yep.
And we do apologize for the extended ghost story, but
It was worth it.
it was absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. Today's episode brought to you by our great sponsors, Ed Locke at USA Mortgage and Smoking Gun Jerky of Lincoln, Nebraska. Use code CRYPTID10 for a great discount. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.